Second personal story segment tonight, the presidential campaign of Jeb Bush. Right now, the Real Clear Politics polling average has the governor at 9% behind Donald Trump, Ben Carson, Carly Fiorina, and Marco Rubio. Yesterday, I spoke with Governor Bush here in New York City. So, Governor, I want to talk about you today. I want to open with this. Were you surprised that the campaign this time around opened with this populist anger? These people are really furious on the Republican side about President Obama and his policies, to the extent that outsiders, not seasoned politicians like yourself, are now dominating in the polls.
I think the anger towards President Obama is legitimate, but I think it's also an anger against D.C. My challenge is to share the Jeb story, talk about my record of accomplishment, who I am, and give people a sense that I could disrupt Washington the way I disrupted Tallahassee.
However, your Bush name is attached to the establishment, and there's no way you're going to overcome that. I mean, you're going to have to convince the voters that you have a better vision.
Yep.
But so far, and I'm saying this with all due respect, because I have said many times on this program that you did an excellent job in Florida overall. You've been flat. You haven't shown the passion and the anger and the outrage that the voters are feeling. So therefore, you're missing connecting with them. Or am I wrong?
Well, you're wrong in the sense that I'm not angry. I believe we're on the verge of the greatest time to be alive. So I'm not angry, but I'm passionate about fixing the things that are broken. And I tell the story as governor of Florida, where we balanced budgets 8 years, led the nation in job growth 7 out of 8 years. First private school choice program in the country was Florida's. Second and third was Florida's. Greatest learning gains in the nation were in Florida. We reduced the state government workforce by 11%. I took on the teachers union, the government unions, and I won. And I can tell that story, and you could see how people then begin to relate to that skill, those experiences mattering.
But here's the problem with that. All of the things that you say are true, but Kasich has the same story in Ohio. Christie has a fairly good story in New Jersey, although there's a tax problem there. But the voters want you yourself, Jeb Bush, to be as angry as they are, and you are not. See, I'm angry. I'm angry. I don't want to see baby body parts cut up and sold. I'm angry that a convicted alien felon can be deported 5 times, come back and shoot a 32-year-old girl in the head.
And I support the law that you've advocated.
Thank you. I'm furious that Putin is kicking President Obama's butt. All right? I'm angry. So viewers, connect with me.
No, I get that. Here's the deal. Do we want to just stay angry, or do we want to fix it? That's the difference.
But you're not going to get the chance to fix it unless you connect with the voter. The polls you have you down 5th or 6th in single digits. Guy like you with all the money you have and the recognition you have should be higher.
I'm convinced that people, when they see my record, they see my passion and conviction for fixing these things that are broken, they're going to support someone who can sit behind the big desk and handle these things. And the part that you just last brought up, which is hugely important, is the foreign policy stuff. We have Donald Trump. He's an outsider. He's now, until maybe today, he changed his mind, but he's supportive of Putin's involvement in Syria, for crying out loud.
Well, he said that on this program this week.
Putin is now taking over what we started, and he's going into Syria, and he frankly wants to fight ISIS, and I think that's a wonderful thing. You know, I said that a year ago, and everybody said, oh, that's terrible. If he wants to fight ISIS, let him fight ISIS.
Between 20 and 30% of the Republican voters in the polls support him solely because of his passion. You must understand that.
Yeah, except when they start hearing his views on things.
Do you believe Donald Trump's a dangerous man, a demagogue, somebody like Huey Long in Louisiana? Do you believe he's at that level?
I think he's not a serious person.
But he believes he's serious.
He's smart, and he's agile.
Americans are taking him seriously.
And the people that support him, I understand why they are, because they are angry, as you say. But he's not a serious candidate. If he was, he wouldn't be having these views on foreign policy that would destabilize the world.
But here's why you may be wrong about his candidacy not being serious, because the media has bought into his candidacy. They don't particularly like him. the media in general, the liberal media in general, but everything he does gets covered to the extent that you can't even dream of.
No, that's right.
I mean, that alone, that media phenomenon that is taking place, has got to diminish your candidacy and the others in the Republican field.
It doesn't diminish mine. I can't control what I can't control. I can only focus.
You'd be polling much higher if Donald Trump were out of the race, and you know it.
Well, and I think at the end of this, he's not going to be as formidable a candidate as he is right now. That's what I totally believe. Because I don't think people are going to want to have someone who has a view, for example, of deporting 12 million people over 2 years. It'll cost hundreds of billions of dollars.
Well, it could never happen. The courts would never allow it to happen. And I told Mr. Trump that.
Well, you're the only guy that's actually, standing up to him. Everybody else lets him.
I stand up to him, but I think he's been good for the political process.
Hey, you know where he's been good?
He brings people in.
Those last two debates, 25 million and 23 million.
That's it.
That's Donald Trump, and I give him credit for that.
And I want our politicians to be as outspoken as Donald Trump.
I just got to tell my story. 4.4% growth. We created 1.3 million jobs. People's income rose during my time. Florida was better off because I applied conservative leadership consistently. And when you get closer to this is what starts to matter. The show is fun. Look, it's entertaining to see him disparage people, I'm sure. But there's a point past which you just can't keep saying that people are idiots.
Final question. How's your father?
My dad's doing well. Thanks for asking. He's
we all
recovering.
admire your father. His whole career and his World War II service and just the kind of gentleman he is.
I love him dearly. Just don't write a book quite yet about killing Bush.
But tell us how he is.
He had a cracked vertebrae. He fell down. He's recovering and in good spirits. Spiritually, he's in a great place.
Mentally?
Mentally, he's strong. He stopped watching CSI reruns and is watching Fox.
Now he's going to get stronger.
That's because he wants his boy to become president.
Oh, you have your father the best from me.
Thank you.
And one footnote, the next debate is a Democratic one. October 13th, then the Republicans get together again on October 28th. Plenty more ahead as Factor moves along this evening. Dana Perino will react to the Bush interview and to the Putin situation. I'll also have another Talking Points memo on the collapse of American foreign policy in the Middle East. There is danger for all of us. Then, Waters visiting the semi-naked women in New York's Times Square. We'll hope you stay tuned for those reports.